Humanity has spent its entire existence trying to survive. And, occasionally, humanity has spent that same existence actively working against that goal. These are 10 real, documented deaths ranked from merely unlucky to genuinely legendary. Some of these people meant to take a risk. Most of them just didn't see it coming. Number 10 barely makes the list, but number 1 will make you stand up and applaud. Let's begin. Fact 10. Long before anyone was worried about robots taking our jobs, they were already taking our lives. 1979. A Ford plant in Michigan. Robert Williams climbed into a storage rack to grab a part. A 1-ton robotic arm didn't see him because it wasn't built to. It just kept doing its job. He became the first person on record killed by an industrial robot. Somewhere, that robot is still proud of hitting its quota. Fact 9. In 1871, a lawyer named Clement Vallandigham was defending Thomas McGeehan, accused of murdering a man named Tom Myers during a barroom brawl in Ohio. Vallandigham's entire defense rested on one theory. Myers hadn't been murdered at all. He'd accidentally shot himself while pulling his own pistol from his pocket. To prove it to his own legal team, over breakfast, Vallandigham grabbed what he was sure was an unloaded revolver and reenacted the exact motion. He was wrong about the gun. He died from the wound, but he proved his point. His client was acquitted. The client then survived 4 more years, until somebody shot him dead through his own saloon window. Some men just aren't meant to die of old age. Fact 8. Isadora Duncan was one of the most famous dancers in the world in the 1920s. In 1927, she climbed into a friend's open-top car, wearing one of her signature long silk scarves. The scarf caught in the spokes of the wheel the second the car started moving. It didn't take long. Somewhere, a stylist is still saying, "Fashion is pain." If you're the kind of person who slows down for a car crash, subscribe, because this whole channel is exactly that instinct, weekly. Fact 7. This one, we're not going to joke about. In 1912, a Parisian tailor named Franz Reichelt became convinced he'd solved a problem nobody else had. A parachute suit, a pilot, could simply wear and jump in. He tested it for months, throwing dummies out of his own 5th-floor apartment window. Every single test failed. His conclusion wasn't that the design was wrong. His conclusion was that the dummies hadn't been dropped from high enough. So he got permission to jump himself off the Eiffel Tower, wearing his own suit, in front of a crowd of journalists who'd shown up expecting a triumph. He jumped. The suit didn't open. There's still film of it today. Fact 6. Hans Steininger was the mayor of an Austrian town in 1567, and locally famous for exactly one thing: a beard just over 4 feet long. He was so proud of it that he kept it rolled up and tucked into his pocket, just to keep it out of the way. One day, it wasn't tucked away. A fire broke out nearby. Steininger ran. His own beard came loose, unrolled under his feet, and he stepped on it mid-stride. He broke his neck in the fall. To be fair to historians, this one's recorded in local town chronicles, not a modern autopsy report. But it's been retold the same way for over 450 years. Somebody clearly thought it was worth keeping alive. Fact 5. Remember Steininger tripping over his own beard? Meet a man who took gluttony to a scale nobody in Swedish history has matched since. King Adolf Frederick of Sweden, 1771. His last meal was a full royal feast: lobster, caviar, sauerkraut, smoked herring, and champagne, capped off with 14 servings of semla, a bun soaked in hot milk, because that was his favorite dessert and nobody at that table was going to tell a king to stop. He died that same night, of digestion. Swedish school kids are reportedly still taught about him purely as a cautionary tale about portion control. We're halfway through, and honestly, it only gets worse from here. Subscribe now so you don't miss where this ends up. Fact 4. Remember Vallandigham, the lawyer who was so sure of his own theory he shot himself proving it? Meet the lawyer who was just as sure about something else entirely. 1900. 993. Toronto. Gary Hoy was a partner at a respected law firm on the 24th floor of the Toronto Dominion Centre, and he had a party trick, proving to visiting students that the office windows were unbreakable by running full speed and slamming his body into the glass. He'd done it successfully, more than once, in front of an audience. This time, the glass held exactly like he said it would. The entire window popped clean out of its frame instead. With him still attached to it, his firm lost nearly 30 lawyers over the next 3 years and shut down completely by 1996. Turns out confidence is not, in fact, load-bearing. Fact 3. 2016, Yellowstone National Park. Colin Scott and his sister walked more than 200 yards off the marked boardwalk at Norris Geyser Basin, looking for a spot to go hot potting, illegally soaking in one of the park's natural hot springs. He slipped into one of the most acidic, near-boiling springs in the entire park. His sister filmed part of what happened next, footage disturbing enough that the ranger who first watched it told her she might not want to see it herself. Rangers couldn't recover a body the next day. The water had essentially dissolved him. All that was left was his wallet and his flip-flops. It was the first thermal-related death at Norris Geyser Basin since 1898. Be careful out there. Nature doesn't do refunds. 3 left. And number 1 is not what you think it is. Subscribe before you find out. Fact 2. 2004, Texas. Michael Warner had a throat condition that made drinking alcohol by mouth painful. So, according to his own wife, he'd developed something of a habit, taking his liquor rectally instead. That night, his choice of drink was 2 full 1.5-liter bottles of sherry. Over 3 liters, delivered the one way your body has 0 natural defenses against absorbing too fast. Your stomach can reject too much alcohol at once. Your rectum just keeps absorbing it, even after you've passed out. By morning, his blood alcohol level measured at 0.47%, almost 6 times the legal driving limit, delivered entirely without a single sip. He never woke up. His wife was initially charged with negligent homicide. The charge was dropped a few years later for insufficient evidence, because it turns out there's no law specifically written for this exact decision. We've now covered a robot, a lawyer twice, a scarf, a beard, a king, a window, and a bottle of sherry in the wrong place. Feels like we've hit rock bottom of this list, right? We haven't. Fact 1. And here it is. The one that outclasses every entry on this list combined. The 3rd of February, 1990. Renton, Washington. David Zabak decided to rob a store. Not a bank, not a jewelry store, a gun store, full of customers, who were all also armed. He walked straight past a marked police car parked right outside the front door to get inside. He announced the robbery. He fired. Every single person in that room fired back. When it was over, investigators counted 47 spent shell casings on the floor. Ballistics traced them to 7 different guns. Zabak was hit 4 times. Not one customer was hurt. He picked the single worst room in the entire country to commit a crime in. 10 deaths. 10 completely different ways the universe collected its debt. A robot that didn't care. A lawyer who was too sure of himself. Twice. A king who couldn't stop eating. And a man who tried to rob the one room in America where that was mathematically impossible. The lesson, if there is one, confidence is not evidence. Which one of these got you? Number 1? Number 2? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more true stories this ridiculous, that's what FACTXED does every week. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.